Missouri Republicans are pushing for more restrictions on food stamps and government health care. A proposed bill in Missouri's Senate would prevent non-citizens from getting government benefits. Missouri Capitol reporter Hannah Falcon has more.
Missouri lawmakers are considering 43 bills on immigration and immigrant rights this year. Lee's Summit Republican Senator Rick Bratton is pushing for what he calls a solution to food stamp waste.
We have billions and billions of dollars being basically stolen from taxpayers, going to illegal immigrants who have broke the law to be here.
Bratton's bill, presented to a Senate committee, would require proof of citizenship to be eligible for government benefits like food stamps and government health care. U.S. Department of Agriculture data shows about 4,000 non-citizens in Missouri were enrolled in government benefits. But those non-citizens aren't who Empower Missouri worries will be affected most if this bill were to go into effect.
When you add this whole other layer that's documentation, that's not going to be harming illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants. That's going to be harming citizens who just don't have access to their notarized birth certificate.
Christine Woody says Missouri's most vulnerable populations, like those living in poverty or single parents, are most likely to be harmed by this potential change.
The hysteria and the increased focus on immigration has really caused folks to try to implement these new complicated systems to prevent undocumented immigrants from receiving benefits when undocumented immigrants are not already eligible for these benefit programs.
I think we have to do everything we possibly can to make sure that we're holding the line on that.
A Senate committee is considering this bill. If they approve it, the full Senate will debate it. Reporting in Jefferson City, I'm Hannah Falcon.